All right, let's cut the crap and dive right into this shit. Olympic medals, man. Those shiny pieces of metal athletes bust their asses for. You think you know about this shit, right? Gold, silver, bronze, the whole 9 yards. But trust me, there's a whole lot of fucked up and weird history behind these things. And we've got a fucking expert here to break it all down for us.
The history of the games is fascinating, particularly the more obscure aspects. It's more than just who wins what shiny piece of metal.
Right. It's like the whole thing is a giant dick measuring contest, but with countries instead of dudes.
Right.
So let's go back to the ancient Olympics, those toga-wearing motherfuckers. What kind of shit were they giving out as prizes back then?
Well, in the ancient Olympic Games, they didn't have this whole tiered medal system. The big prize was an olive wreath, a simple symbol of victory, made from branches of a wild olive tree.
An olive wreath. Seriously. That's all they got. No wonder those ancient dudes look so pissed off in those statues.
It might seem underwhelming now, but that olive wreath held deep cultural significance in ancient Greece. It represented supreme honor and a connection to the gods. It's interesting to see how that simple concept evolved into the elaborate medals we have today.
It's like they went from giving out a houseplant to a fucking Rolex.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward to the first modern Olympics in 1896. Get this shit. They didn't even have gold medals.
That's right. The winners in Athens received a silver medal and an olive branch. Second place received a bronze medal and a laurel branch.
So you're telling me the gold medal was actually silver? What a fucking ripoff.
The IOC later retroactively awarded gold medals for the 1896 and 1900 games to align with the standard system.
Typical bureaucratic bullshit. But speaking of 1900, the Paris Olympics did some really weird shit, right? Tell us about those rectangular medals.
The 1900 Paris Games were the only ones to feature rectangular medals. They were designed by Frédéric Verneau and were quite unique. Some events didn't even have medals at all. Winners got cups and trophies instead.
Rectangular medals. Imagine training your ass off your whole life for a chance to win a goddamn rectangle.
It certainly makes you wonder about the athletes' reactions, but it reflects how the games and their traditions were still evolving.
So it wasn't until 1904 in St. Louis that they finally got their shit together and established the gold, silver, and bronze hierarchy we know and love today.
That marked a significant turning point, solidifying the system we're familiar with.
So we got our medal hierarchy. But what about the design? That iconic triunfo design we see on most Summer Olympic medals? When did that shit start?
That came a bit later. In 1928, they started using the triunfo design by Giuseppe Cassioli. It featured Nike, the Greek goddess of victory, holding a crown and palm with the Colosseum in the background, and they stuck with that design for a whopping 76 years.
Damn. Talk about beating a dead horse. But didn't something fucked up happen with that design in 2000? Something about a building mix-up?
Yes, the Sydney Games. There was a major controversy because it turned out that the building on the medal, which everyone thought was the Parthenon, was actually the Colosseum.
Wait, they had the wrong fucking building on the medal for all those years. The Greeks must have been pissed.
They were. The Sydney organizers stuck with the design due to time and budget constraints, but it fueled the need for a change.
I bet it did. So what happened next? Did they finally get rid of that ancient Roman bullshit?
In 2004, the Athens Games introduced a new obverse design by Elena Vazzi, featuring the Panathenaic Stadium, which is still used today.
So, they just swapped out one stadium for another. Not exactly a revolutionary change, is it?
The obverse with the stadium is standardized now, but each host city gets to design the reverse side of the medal. For example, the 1972 Munich Games had a design with Castor and Pollux, twin sons of Zeus, by the German artist Gerhard Marx. It allows each city to showcase its own creativity.
So, the Summer Olympics like to keep things all official and shit. But what about the Winter Olympics? Are those medals as boring?
The Winter Games have never had a mandated design for their medals, so they've been much more diverse. There have been some really unique designs, featuring snowflakes, laurel leaves, even the Olympic motto, Citius, Altius, Fortius.
They put the fucking motto on the medal. That's some next level shit.
And it's not just the designs. They've even experimented with different materials beyond metal, like glass, sparagmite, lacquer, and even jade.
Jade. Sounds fancy. Like something a Chinese emperor would wear.
The Winter Games have definitely taken more creative liberties with their medals, and generally speaking, Winter Olympic medals are larger, thicker, and heavier than Summer Olympic medals.
They're bigger, bolder, and more badass. Maybe those winter athletes are onto something. But before you move on, let's talk about those participation medals, the ones they give out to everyone just for showing up.
Actually, did you know that since the modern Olympics began, athletes, support staff, officials, and even some volunteers receive commemorative medals?
So basically, everyone gets a fucking medal. What a time to be alive. All right, let's take a break to grab a beer and process all this metal madness. We'll be back soon to dive deeper into some of the most iconic Olympic medal designs.
All right, are you ready to dive back into this metal madness?
Hell yeah. Let's get back to those juicy metal designs. What are some of the wildest, most badass designs you've come across?
Well, we were talking about the 1972 Munich Games, and those Castor and Pollux medals, they were a real departure from that tired Triunfo design.
Yeah, those Castor and Pollux dudes were pretty badass. It's like they took ancient Greek mythology and gave it a modern art makeover.
Exactly. The Munich Organizing Committee really pushed the boundaries. Those medals symbolized brotherhood and athletic rivalry, which perfectly captured the spirit of the games.
Didn't they also make some big changes to the medal presentation that year? I vaguely remember something about podiums and flower crowns and shit.
Yes, the 1972 Munich Games were groundbreaking in a lot of ways. They were the first to feature a separate award ceremony where athletes received their medals on a podium. And that's where the tradition of playing the national anthem of the gold medalist started.
Hold up. So, before 1972, they just handed out medals like party favors at the closing ceremony. No podium, no anthem, no nothing.
That's right. The victory podium, as we know it, wasn't introduced until the 1932 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, and the tradition of playing the national anthem during the ceremony came even later, in 1936 at the Berlin Games.
Damn, the Olympics have come a long way. It's crazy to think about all those legendary athletes just awkwardly shuffling past some dude to get their medal. No wonder they started juicing. They needed something to make those ceremonies more exciting. But let's get back to the designs. What other gems have we got?
The 1992 Albertville Winter Games medals are worth mentioning. They were designed by renowned glass artist René Lalique and incorporated glass into the design. It was the first time a material other than metal was used in Winter Olympic medals.
Glass medals. Sounds kind of fragile for something that's supposed to represent the pinnacle of athletic achievement. One wrong move and bam! Shattered dreams.
They were designed to be durable, of course, but the use of glass was truly innovative. They were like little works of art.
All right, I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But for pure badassery, I think the 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympics medals take the cake. Those things were insane.
I agree. Those were remarkable. They were designed by Corinne Hunt and Omer Arbel and featured a unique, undulating shape, inspired by the ocean waves and snowy landscapes of British Columbia. And here's the kicker. Each medal was individually cropped from a larger piece of artwork, making every single medal one of a kind.
Whoa. Hold up, you're telling me no two medals were the same? That's some next level shit.
It's true. It was incredibly ambitious, but it resulted in these truly unique and personalized awards for the athletes.
Man, those Canadians really know how to do it right. Big, bold, and totally original. It's like they said, screw tradition, we're making our own damn medals.
They definitely pushed the boundaries, and their commitment to sustainability was admirable. They used recycled electronic waste to create the metal for the medals.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Innovation, sustainability, and a whole lot of badassery. Those Vancouver medals are a goddamn masterpiece.
I think it's safe to say that Olympic medal design has evolved significantly over the years. They're not just about athletic achievement, but also artistic expression and cultural identity.
All right, Professor, before we get too deep into this philosophical mumbo-jumbo, hit us with one last mind-blowing medal fact, something that will make our listeners say, holy shit, I never knew that.
Well, how about this? Did you know that the medals awarded at the 1956 Melbourne Olympics were the first to be designed specifically for women? They featured a smaller size and a design that reflected the grace and femininity of female athletes.
Wait, seriously? They were just giving women the same clunky-ass medals as the dudes before that. Talk about a gender equality fail.
It is quite remarkable how even something as seemingly symbolic as an Olympic medal reflected the societal norms of the time.
All right, folks, we're back for the final round of this Olympic medal beatdown. We've gone from ancient olive wreaths to rectangular what-the-fucks, and even those fancy-ass glass medals.
It's been a fascinating journey through the evolution of Olympic medal design, that's for sure.
But enough with the history lesson. What's up with medal designs these days? Are we still stuck in that ancient Roman triunfo bullshit? Or are designers finally getting off their asses and doing something new?
Well, as we discussed, the obverse design has been standardized since the 2004 Athens Games, featuring the Panathenaic Stadium.
Yeah. The stadium, it's classy, I get it. But does it really scream 21st century? Seems a bit safe, if you ask me.
Remember, each host city still gets to express its own creative vision through the reverse design. And we've seen some truly innovative designs in recent years.
All right, hit me with some examples. What's got you excited about the future of medal design?
Take the 2012 London Games medals, for example. Designed by David Watkins, they featured an abstract representation of the River Thames flowing through the heart of the city. The use of angled lines and dynamic shapes gave them a modern and energetic feel.
Okay, I'll admit those London medals were pretty dope. But what about Tokyo 2020? Did they bring the Japanese flair?
The Tokyo medals were quite beautiful, actually. Designed by Junichi Kawanishi, they featured a swirling pattern of light rays that represented the energy and diversity of the athletes. And they were made using recycled metals from electronic devices donated by the Japanese public.
Recycled metals. That's pretty damn cool. So it sounds like sustainability is becoming a bigger deal in metal design.
Absolutely. There's a growing awareness of the environmental impact of the games, and that's definitely influencing design choices.
Okay, Professor, time for the million-dollar question. What's next for Olympic medals? Are we going to see holograms, 3D printed masterpieces, medals that double as NFTs?
That's the exciting part. We can only speculate, but I think we'll continue to see a fusion of tradition and innovation.
More recycled materials.
For sure. And we might see even more personalization, like incorporating the athlete's name or event into the design, using cutting-edge technology.
Whoa, imagine a medal that's like a digital fingerprint of your Olympic journey. That would be epic.
We might even see interactive medals that can be scanned to unlock exclusive content or connect with fans around the world.
Dude, my mind is blown. The possibilities are endless. We might even see medals embedded with AI. That can track your athletic performance and give you real-time feedback.
Let's not get too carried away. But it's exciting to think about how technology will shape the future of Olympic medal design.
It's not just about the bling or the technology, though. It's about capturing the spirit of the games, the dedication, the passion, the pursuit of excellence.
Well said. It's about the human stories behind those medals, the years of sacrifice and hard work that culminate in that moment of victory.
So the next time you see an athlete standing on that podium, metal gleaming in the spotlight, remember, it's more than just a piece of metal. It's a symbol of dreams realized, of boundaries pushed, of the indomitable human spirit.
That's a wrap on this Olympic medal deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, from ancient history to futuristic fantasies. Big thanks to our resident Olympics guru for dropping some serious knowledge bombs. Now go forth, dear listeners, and spread the medal gospel.